Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still on to the Polity, coming to you live from the Abuja studio of KAFTAN television. And somebody somewhere is asking, what does KAFTANTV really mean? Is it the kaftan that my guest is wearing? No, it's King Adebayo Film and Theatre Arts Network Television. That's what it stands for, KAFTAN. King Adebayo Film and Theatre Arts Network Television. So you know now, and you can spread the word. Now, quickly, my guest, second guest, Dr. Umar Abubakar, is a sociologist and an administrator, as well as a public affairs analyst. And those who have passed through the University of Abuja, many of them know him very well. Very erudite scholar, very solid lecturer. He will come right down to break it down for you. Now, so I welcome you, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
Right, so good to have you. Right.
Yes.
We quickly want to go concerning the budget that Mr. President laid at the National Assembly yesterday. Quickly, what's your impression? I mean, briefly.
Well, I must say, very ambitious budget.
All right.
It presented to the nation as a guideline for total expenditure, an amount that's never before.
Yeah. Yes.
Presented before the National Assembly.
Yeah.
So for us as citizens, perhaps it may be due to the high level of inflation.
Right.
So it may be deliberately intended to take care of
a whole lot of things.
A whole lot of issues.
Yes.
So for me, the budget was really very ambitious, very huge, and we look forward to seeing it address our socio-economic crisis as a country.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now, for you, what are the points of interest? What are which of the allocations caught your interest, especially?
Well, let me be biased.
Okay.
As a member of the academic community.
All right.
As as a part-time lecturer and an adjunct lecturer, although I'm not speaking in my capacity as a lecturer now.
Yeah.
I'm speaking here in my capacity as Dr. Umar Abubakar,
yeah.
An individual who has the liberty of being invited to come and express myself about the going-ons in the country.
Yeah.
So, but because of my attachment to the university,
yeah.
I would want to, pick a special interest in the budget allocation to the university, which is to the educational system, which is about 3.something trillion, 3.5 trillion. This represents, rightly or wrongly, about 7.something%
wow.
of the total budget allocation. It's a far cry from the international recommendation for budget allocations.
Yeah.
Which is supposed to be between 15 to 20%,
right, in
nations that are very serious with education. If we think education is expensive, we should try ignorance. It's like my friend, my mentor, Shekarau, Senator Shekarau, former governor of Kano State. He said education is a progressive effort by individuals to discover their ignorance. Now, if education is to discover nation's ignorance, a lot of conscious efforts should be seen by political authority to make education look the way it should look, infrastructurally and otherwise. Education requires a very humongous amount of money so as to take care of our infrastructural deficits, classroom, lecture theaters, payment of lecturers, training, and all that. Although there are other arms, like TED fund and other things.
Okay.
That also, and I believe they also pick from this budget too.
Yes.
Although there are other
sources
or support to such organizations, but we should be seen to be doing something much more than that. But I think compared to previous budget, perhaps you can say there's a significant improvement.
There's some improvement.
Yes.
So maybe we'll start from the fact that there's some improvement. But like Oliver Twist, we always have to ask for more. And especially when it falls far short of the international
global standards.
Yeah. So, but is this not a demonstration? Does this not show that that our finances, our resources are still very, very limited? Is that not the reason why? Because, for example, if you had the knife, if you had the knife as Mr. President, which one of these ones would you have, I mean, how would you have tweaked this? Would you put education in the place of this national security, for example, that has the largest chunk?
Well, you see, first of all,
yes,
no human activity, no serious human activity at either micro or macro level can take place without stable socio-economic environment.
Exactly.
So one can appreciate the ambition to place security in the front burner.
Good.
We can appreciate it.
Right.
But all things being equal again, we cannot allow other sectors to be undermined rather, because of the need to continue to deal with the issues of security. I think we can still, there should be a way to go around it, because this insecurity cannot linger forever.
Right.
Every community, every society, every environment has their own teething security challenges. But ours seems to be perpetuating.
Exactly.
Is it because of lack of political will? No. There are other issues that we need to look at as society. Otherwise, security will continue to, to place other sectors under at the level, below the level of consideration.
Yeah, but yes, that also goes back to where you started from, when you said there's no serious activity that can really thrive without a stable political setting. So it's something we can't really shy away from.
We can't shy away from.
But
it's so unfortunate.
Having said that, you are a witness that in the last few budgets of this nation, security has always taken I think unless one of the years when I think infrastructure dominated, every other time in the last like 5 years or so, it has always been security at the top. Has this priority, this sort of prioritization, has it been justified by the success, the level of success realized in curbing the challenges? To be very honest, I can say it has not been justified. Definitely.
It has not been justified. Because looking at the quantum of money that is being sunk rather, particularly during the immediate past administration.
Yes.
By now we should have done away with this issue.
Had some
both military hardware, military training, military welfare, and other security apparatuses. They've had a lot of resources being pushed down to wipe away all these security issues within a very short time. But the more we budget humongous amount of money into security, the more it makes security businesses very lucrative. And so I don't know. I'm sorry.
Security business is more lucrative.
More lucrative, because perhaps there are people that are not praying for this security to come to an end because of what they stand to benefit. Honestly. So can we delucratize the security struggle, the fight against security? Can we look at the shine of something like that? Because we are making it very, very lucrative. We are making it very lucrative. In short, there are not yet established, but there are allegations of fraudulent practices.
Oh, definitely, yes.
I get it.
No, but some of them, you remember the general who was caught with, if I remember, 400 million naira cash? So there are several such cases.
So we are all citizens and we must tell ourselves
the truth.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's one. Now, let's also look at the president believes that we can crash inflation from 34% to 15%. How viable is that proposition?
Well, I don't know. If I am going to, if we are returning to macroeconomy or to, macro level economy, you can see that perhaps the president want to help us to redefine what actually are the causes of inflation and what are the remedies. At an elementary economic level, some of us know that inflation occurs in a society if supplies are less than demand.
That's correct.
So we are a consumer economy.
Yes.
We are a consumer nation rather. and we consume much more than we produce. In short, we depend on other nations, including smaller nations, sister nations in Africa, for most of the things that we consume. As unfortunately as it is, I don't know how Mr. President,
intends to achieve.
Is it that there are attempts to boost our production capacity in order to flood enormous goods and services,
so that our foreign exchange will not be depleted?
That will be almost equal, or much more than the demand for goods and services. Does he have any deliberate policy to check the influx of goods and services into the country in order to boost our local industry, to boost their production? I don't know how he's going to do it, honestly speaking, if you ask me. But it's a good ambition. We look forward to seeing it happen, but how it is going to happen within a space of 12 months, it will be a miracle. Because I know that there are a lot of constraints for local industries production. Or are we thinking also that he will intend to go into agriculture, give a lot of priorities, which I didn't even see in the summary of the budget? Is he giving priority to mineral resources, to solid minerals, perhaps? Because we have a lot of, lucrative sectors of the economy.
Yes.
But we have been operating a monocultural economy. Oil. When solid mineral, agriculture are all there to help the nation to grow economically and otherwise. So perhaps the president has a plan that has not yet been unveiled to the citizens. Maybe when details of the budget is being broken down by probably Minister of Finance or any other person that will do that on his behalf, we'll be able to say for sure how
he intends to achieve it. All right. How do you see the timing of the submission of the budget?
Well, if we are to reflect, the immediate past president, Muhammadu Buhari, tried to bring our budget here from January to December.
Yes.
Some of us for a long time, we know that our budget starts somewhere around June.
Yes, and then ends in the following year, May or so.
So I don't know. I don't know if he's taking us back to the April to April or June to June, because honestly, submission of budget that's supposed to start implementation by January in December is rather too late.
It's late. And when you add to that, because of what you just said, maybe we're being taken back to that new cycle. Because I also read in the papers that the 2024 budget, the lifespan has been extended till June 2025. So I'm wondering how you intend, if you really intend to pass this budget within the good time, maybe January, and then you also have that running. So you might just be correct that maybe the thinking is to revert back to
there is another magical way, because everything done in a haste is never done well.
Everything done in a haste is never done well.
We will not expect our National Assembly under the, because they are always willing. The Senate President, the Speakers of the House of Representatives, they are always willing to facilitate whatever the President brings about.
Yes.
So we will advise them to take it easy. Because any hurried passage of our national budget without looking at the critical issues, cross the T's and dot the I's, it's not going to go well for us. We have a culture of budget padding as a country, and we'll expect this National Assembly to be very meticulous, to have an eagle eye, to put their eyes down to every detail, so they will ensure that whatever is presented is for the benefit of the majority of the citizens of this country.
All right.
Not to serve few interests.
All right.
So whether the president has it in mind to revert to June, or April to April, or maintain the January culture established by immediate past president, we still advise that the National Assembly should be very meticulous, should take their time. Since we still have a budget that is still running June, there's no need for passing this budget in a hurry, particularly against the backdrop of the fact that this is about the largest amount that has been presented today. So they should be very meticulous. That's my advice to the nation.
All right, so that's the advice going to the National Assembly. Be very meticulous. This is the highest budget ever proposed in the annals of Nigeria. And so we go on from there. Because you have a background of the University of Abuja, I cannot just rise above the temptation to ask about your take on the imminent change of name.
Well, like the immediate past, the previous guest has observed.
Yes.
As an alumnus of the university.
Okay, you're an alumni. Oh, really?
I graduated from the University of Abuja in 1999.
All right.
I did my master's degree there.
There also?
My PhD there.
Oh, you're a thoroughbred.
University of Abuja. Thoroughbred. And I'm proud of that university anytime. Anytime. So believe me, the change of name is, no matter the intention, to glorify, to immortalize, to recognize the effort of this war veteran, General Yakubu Gowon. Because when we were mere infants, we heard of the effort he has done, he has made to keep this country together. If not that God used him as a sitting head of state, perhaps some of us would not have grown to this age to meet Nigeria one.
True.
So we appreciate him. So nobody in his rightful senses will question the reason for renaming an institution after such a veteran,
right?
Such a national figure. But we have a problem. Our problem is that this university represents the unity and strength of this country's multicultural diversities.
Maybe that's where
it's a melting point.
Yes, maybe that's where the idea also flowed from, because General Gowon is perceived as a symbol of Nigeria's unity.
Good. I see him much more than a symbol of Nigerian unity. I see him as a war veteran,
all right,
who has been able to conquer a war that should have splitted us asunder. Now there are other institutions that are much more relevant to him as a retired general.
All right.
Located in the Federal Capital Territory, for instance, the National War College. So what if we think of Yakubu Gowon National War College? I think it's even more appropriate, it's more meritorious. Are you getting me?
Yakubu Gowon National War College.
Because it is in the center of unity.
Yes.
And it is an institution that produced it. So why not think about that direction? Because changing, the national university located in the nation's Federal Capital Territory to any other name is a great disservice to the name of the university. A lot of people struggle to come to the University of Abuja, whether or not they see it as a center of excellence, but just for the purpose of identifying that I'm a student at university. A lot of us introduce ourselves with pride in the orientation card in the year 2001 when I went for national service in Enugu State. We are proud. It is a thing of pride to say I am a graduate of University of Abuja, not minding the questions of standard.
At that time.
Not minding the question of standard. And I challenge anybody, even the so-called standard, we can stand shoulder to shoulder high with anybody from any university in any part of the world. Honestly speaking. So for us, I mean, the president should have, consulted with, and incidentally, this same president was among those, rightly or wrongly, that opposed attempt by President Goodluck Jonathan in 2012 to change the name of the University of Lagos to Moshood Abiola University. So what is it that has changed between that time and now, that is now changing a university situated in the capital of the country? Lagos is not even a capital of Nigeria in 2012.
As at that time.
So if University of Lagos could be if the delegations and other stakeholders could not allow a university situated in Lagos, in southwestern Nigeria, a predominantly Yoruba nation, for that university to be made Moshood Abiola University, son of the soil.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a problem. So honestly, but I'm not trying to see this as a justification. Yeah. No, I'm seeing it in the context of the damage that it will do to the established reputation, the established goodwill of the University of Abuja, as a center of national unity, as a melting point of our cultural, religious, and ethnic diversities.
And like the last guest also said, it tends to create a disconnect for those who have passed through the system before. When you now change it looks as if their school no longer exists.
Something like that. Although legally speaking,
legally speaking, of course,
anywhere you go, if you change your name, there is a clause.
Yes.
All former documents remain valid.
Yes.
But believe me, as an administrator, I know the constraints. There are a lot of people that have changed their name after a very long time.
Face. Because sometimes it creates
doubts.
Yes, it creates doubts.
It creates doubts.
Yes.
I was formerly Dr. Umar Abubakar. Now I want to be called Dr. Umar Sarki. If I go into areas where that name means a lot of people can create doubts about whether I'm the same Umar Abubakar. And before it is established that I'm the same person, I would have suffered a lot of consequences. You don't change the name of a child after attaining the age of 40 or 30. The earlier the better.
How old is he? How old is he?
From 1985, 1988 to today, 2024. Just do the counting.
Okay, so I think that at this point we will just have to round up. Doctor, so what will your last line be? Incidentally, the line's been open and I have no callers. Well, that's all it is. I can't do anything about that. So, Doctor, let's have your last line.
Well, in the two areas.
Yes, in the two areas. Sure, yes.
I want to appeal to the members of the National Assembly to be very meticulous in the passage of this budget.
Okay.
I wish the president very well in achieving this miraculous decline or reduction in inflation from 34 to 15%.
All right, let me take this one and only caller. Hello, Eso Dudu, but this is going to have to be very fast. Eso Dudu.
I'll be calling. Imagine beautiful Nigeria KAFTANTV.
Right.
Good afternoon, Mr. Daya. Good afternoon, Dr. Abubakar.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Yes, let me start briefly with the renaming of the university. The renaming is timely anyway. But personally, just as I said yesterday, I suggest that since Gowon actually stood for a very wonderful policy, if you look at his policy then, his vision and his civil ideology were actually wonderful. What are the ways we can consolidate to ensure that some of these his policy trusts and ideologies never die? I will suggest to the president that the president should establish things like an institution. Gowon is an institution. Things like Gowon Institute of Civil and Good Governance Studies situated in Abuja, so that our politicians should be learning from there on how to consolidate to build this policy trust and ideology. Let me leave it.
Thank you.
The budget, please. The National Assembly should be very, very careful. If you look at the last year budget, the budget that was actually amended was passed August. That is why the budget is actually running to, they have extended the lifespan of the budget to next year.
Okay.
So this budget, they shouldn't be in a hurry. No. They should scrutinize it by making sure that all the sectorial allocations are well taken care of. There shouldn't be any shortcoming. We are watching. Please, there shouldn't be in a hurry.
All right.
If possible, we are going to alter the January to December deadline already from the late submission of the budget. But that is notwithstanding, the right thing should be done.
Should be done. Thank you, Eso Dudu. Thank you so very much. Thank you all the time. And then you have 30 seconds to round up on the other.
I want to lean on the last suggestion made by the caller.
By this caller.
Honestly, the president, the Federal Executive Council, should look at this suggestion very critically.
All right.
By establishing an institution for training of our leaders. Special institute for leadership, both in politics and economy and security. We can combine these three parameters together: security, economy, and politics. after General Yakubu. I think it will go a long way.
So we leave it there, and that's the size of this program this afternoon. Thank you for being there, and it seems so many of you have been trying to call from what SO Dudu said. It's a network problem, definitely, because the line has been open. Try again next time. Tomorrow is there. And thank you, my production team. At this point, we will need to go.